Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone, this is Ashima, and in this video we'll be talking about daily news events. The discussion is going to involve a lot of news events. Now, the class, as we know, is conducted regularly, but it could not be conducted on 8th of February. So, in this video, we'll be talking about the 8th of February news events as well as 9th of February news events, right? So, both the news events will be covering on the major ones, and this whole video is going to help you grasp the news events in the least time possible to the most information possible, right? So do watch the video and keep making notes alongside the video, because that's what's going to help you gain the perspective on the news events, right? For those who want to practice the questions as well, for all of them we have our app by the name Entry app. You can download the app from Google Play Store, and once you do that and do the initial registration process, you get free quiz every day for your practice purpose, as well as a 7 days free trial on every course that is available on the app. So do go and download the app quickly and check out all the courses that are available to you, as well as attempt the free quiz, because those quiz questions are going to help you in keeping in touch with the recent format of questions that can be asked from you, right? The app has a facility of choosing your own language you want things to be in. So that is going to help you a lot, because it has various language options from Hindi, English, Marathi, Urdu, Telugu, Tamil. A lot of languages have been set up over there, so it's going to help you a lot in preparation. Right now, let's begin with our discussion. The first news event we're going to talk about is National Horticulture Fair. Now, this was recently organized on 8th of February. It was started, and it's a 5-day event which is being organized by ICAR, or Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and IIHR, Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, right? So, what was the theme now? Whenever there's any day or date, in that case, you have to remember a few things, a certain prospective questions that are, the standard format, like when, for since this was a event that was, so you need to know the duration of the event, and if it's a single day or a single day celebration, then you need to know the date of the event. Second thing, the theme of the event is very, very important one. You need to know about the theme. Third, who is organizing that? If someone very famous has inaugurated it, then who has inaugurated it also an equally important question, right? So over here, if we go for the theme for 2021, it was horticulture for startup and stand-up India. Right now, over here, there's two more static questions that are possible. One is, who is the father of American horticulture? That is L.H. Bailey. And the second is, father of Indian horticulture, a more important question, that is M.H. Maury Gowda. Right, so father of American horticulture, father of Indian horticulture, both are important questions. Right, going ahead, India's first geothermal power project. Now, this is going to be set up soon, and this is India's first geothermal power project. It is also known as Geothermal Field Development Project, and it is being established in Puga village of eastern Ladakh. So, basically, Ladakh is going to get the first geothermal project of India, and it is going to be set up in Puga region, or Puga village. Now, how is it going to be constructed, and who all are involved in the project? So there's an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, which is a tripartite MOU. Tripartite MOU means that there are three parties which are involved. The three parties are ONGC Energy, LADH Leh, and the Power Department of Ladakh. All the three are involved in this MOU, and they are going to set up the geothermal field development project. When is it going to be commissioned? It will be commissioned by the end of 2022, and it is going to run in 4 phases, right? It's not a single phase project, it's a 4-phase project, of which first phase, that is the pilot project, that will be the work of ONGC, right? ONGC is going to work on the base of the project, or the first phase of the project, within the depth of 500 meters. Right now, what is going to happen in the first phase? That is going to provide 24 hours of a free power supply to the 10 neighboring villages of the geothermal project. Right? Now, going to the next news event, 400 crore investment is going to be made in Goa soon. So, where is the investment going to be and what is the purpose of the investment? So, it has been announced by Union Fisheries Minister, that is Giriraj Singh. Now, when we come to the ministry, that is Union Fisheries Ministry, that means it involves something related to fish culture, right? So, the basic idea for the funding is to create Goa as a fisheries hub of India, that is, increase the fisheries or number of fisheries in Goa. Also, promotion of aquaculture is going to be there. That is, they're going to promote more and more aquaculture production, for which about 30 lakh cages are going to be installed. And what are those cages? They keep the fishes in the range so that they can be cultured and then consumed as per the requirement. What else is going to be in this fisheries project? So 30 fish landing jetties will also be there in order for fishermen to anchor their boats near the villages or to park their boats, as we can say. Right? As of now, there are 9 jetties already there, and now there are going to be 30 jetties that are going to be created more. Then what else is going to be there? Now it is going to ensure safe fishing is also going to be there. About 41.47 crores are going to be invested by the state in this, and rest of all the central government is already doing it. And over here, then we have central government will be appointing Sagar Mitra for all the 70 fishing villages in Goa. So Sagar Mitras are also going to be set up, right? So how many are they going to be set up? About 7 in for 70 villages there's going to be Sagar Mitra established. Then we have a business confidence index. So whenever there's an index, you have certain points to take care of. First of all, who released the index, what was the findings of the index, and if there is any ranking also involved, then you have to remember the ranking as well. If we talk about this index, it was published by National Council of Applied Economic Research, NCAER. So, National Council for Applied Economic Research has published this index, which rose by about 2.29.6% between the second and third quarter of financial year. So, from 2020 to 21, from second and third quarter, the index has rose by 29.6%, and the financial position of the firms is also expected to improve in the coming 6 months. So how much increment is expected? About 3.1 percent points is expected in quarter 3, or as per the index findings, if we talk about, right? All right. Then furthermore, if we talk about other things or other involvements, so about 4.8% points expected increase is there for the quarter 3 of financial year, right? And if we talk about the findings of the index, or what are the BES findings in this, so about 500 firms have responded in various formats, and on the basis of those, there have been certain findings like, although COVID-19 was rolled out in Europe and North America, there were various new mutations in the coronavirus, and in India, Covishield and Covaxin vaccines, Covaxin and Covishield, for restricted use were given on 3rd of January 2021, and post that there is a huge amount of recovery that can be witnessed in the graph of the growth of India. Right? So business sentiments have also showed a V-shaped recovery pattern, just like from COVID. So V-shaped recovery is expected as per the graphical representation. Then a 16-digit Unicode is going to be set up or established soon. What is the 16-digit Unicode for? It is basically to identify the land holdings. Now we all know that government is going digital, and ongoing for digital purposes, they are trying to number the land. Just like we have people identified via their Aadhaar card, on the similar basis, identifying land areas on the basis of a certain number is the Unicode that is set up, and the Uttar Pradesh government has introduced this 16-digit Unicode as of now. So all the land holdings in the state will get a Unicode that will identify the land area, and this in turn is going to help in differentiating the fraudsters and the real land. right? So what is the 16 digit going to signify? Out of the 16 digits, let's just number them over here. So we have, let's just write 16 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. These are the 16 digits. So how are the digits signified over here? Let's have a look at that now. First six digits, that being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These six digits, the first six digits, they are going to tell about they're going to signify the population of the land, right? Then the next four digits, they are going to signify about the identity of the land, right? Then 11 to 14, 11, 12, 13, 14, these four are going to signify about the number of divisions. That is, if a particular land piece has been divided into six parts for six different people, or they're selling it in different parts, so how many divisions have been made of a particular land holding, that is going to be in the 11 to 14 of digits. And the last two digits, they will be telling about the category of the land. That is whether the land is a residential land, an agricultural land, or a commercial land. So that even allocation of land can be done accordingly, and what purpose is the land being used for, since we all know agricultural land cannot be used for commercial purposes. So similar things, that if a residential land is there, it should not be used on commercial purposes. So on that basis, a category is also going to be defined in the Unicode itself. And how is that going to help? Obviously, it is going to help in mapping. It is going to help in reducing the number of land disputes, on saving people from falling into the fraudsters, and it will also increase the revenue department of Uttar Pradesh government as well, right? All right. Next, which we are going to go through a few one-liners, but don't believe that they're just one-liners. There's lots of information sometimes in one-liners as well. So go through them. Now, National Tiger Conservation Authority (NTCA) has approved the creation of fifth tiger reserve in Tamil Nadu. So, fifth tiger reserve is going to be created in the state of Tamil Nadu, and the name is soon to be proposed. Now, Tamil Nadu is also one of those states where a wetland has been converted to a bird sanctuary. That is also important. Then Ghaznavi is a ballistic missile of Pakistan, and it has launched its new surface to surface missile. So you need to know Ghaznavi is of which country, and second of all, what is the name of the latest surface to surface ballistic missile launched by Pakistan. Both the form of question can be expected. Next, a joint working group meeting, first meeting of a joint working group between India and Bahrain was held recently, and from Bahrain's side, who was representing Dr. Abdul Hussain bin Ali Mirza, who is the president of Sustainable Energy Authority. He was a representative from the side of Bahrain in the joint working group meeting, which was held for the first time. Then, Andhra Pradesh has become the second state to implement power sector reforms. There were various reforms that have been proposed, and of them, one is a power sector reform, which was put forward by Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, and Andhra Pradesh has become the second state to implement that. Then TTD, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthamas, has decided to construct a temple for goddess Padmavati in Chennai. And so, first of all, the question is, where have they decided to set it up? In Chennai. Second of all, what is the budget? 6.85 crores is the budget. Then first, thunderstorm research test bed in Balasore, Odisha. Direct question, where will India's first thunderstorm research test bed be set up? That is Balasore, Odisha. Who has announced the setting up of it? So, Director General of India Meteorological Department, or IMD, that is Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra, has made the announcement. So, who is the Director General of IMD? Mrityunjay Mohapatra. Where is the headquarters of IMD? New Delhi. Where will India's first thunderstorm research test bed be set up? Balasore, Odisha. Next, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, has in Lok Sabha stated, given an average rate of the average dropout rate of girls. That is, dropout rate means girls leaving the schools or colleges before completing their education. So on secondary level, the dropout rate was 17.3%, whereas in elementary level, it was 4.74%, right? And that is for 2018-19. Then we have a PayPal. PayPal has decided to stop its functioning in India or within the premises of India. Domestic payment service will be stopped from April 1, 2021 because of various penalty issues that PayPal is facing right now. So here you need to know that it is of which country, that it's an American American service provider. And second of all, within India, it is going to stop from which date? 1st of April or the next financial year, as we can say. Then RBI has announced to integrate the consumer grievance redressals under single ombudsman. So there's going to be a single platform where all the grievances are going to be addressed as per RBI. So they are creating an integrated consumer redressal forum, and that is going to help in replacing all those multiple grievance portals to a single one. Then FSSAI has put a cap on trans fat foods yet again. Now, what I'm saying yet again, it was earlier done in December 2020, which was started from 1st of January. That was in 2020, the cap was put at 3% of trans fat, right? And that was to be implemented from 2021. So we'll be taking 2021. So in 2021, the cap is at 3%. Now from 2022, the guidelines of FSSAI state that the number of trans fat should not exceed 2%. Maximum is 2% as of now, or as for 2022, or from the next year, as we can say, right? Now, what exactly is a trans fat? That can be a possible question for all of you. So, acids which are created by industrial processing by adding hydrogen to vegetable oils, that is a trans fat, right? And trans fat is very injurious to health because its intake can increase hypertension, it can cause heart attacks, it can cause cardiovascular diseases, and that is why you can say it's called adulterated ghee, right? So it is harmful for the health, and therefore it is required that the amount of trans fat should be reduced. Now, what is the stand of WHO on it? WHO recommends that it should be completely banned. So WHO's aim is that by 2023, if we talk about WHO states that by 2023, the amount of trans fat should be 0%, or we can say eliminate that by 2023. This is the target. Right. Then Reserve Bank of India has announced that it is going to purchase 4 government securities or G-Secs that amount to 20,000 crores under open market operations. Now this is very important one, because this step of RBI is, we can say, purchasing or taking up of open market operations, that is very influential in adjusting the liquidity of the economy. Right now, when RBI purchases government securities, at that time when you're purchasing something, you're giving money. So via purchasing, RBI gives money in the market, right? Whereas when government securities are being sold in a large amount by RBI, that means they are taking the money towards them. So that helps in reducing the liquidity of the market. So OMO is a very important step in regulating the liquidity of the market, and this purchasing of OMO, or sorry, this purchasing of government securities is in turn increasing the liquidity of the market, right? Now, the purchase is going to be for 10 years. Next, Rajya Sabha has cleared the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill 2021 via voice note. So via voice note, this approval has been given to Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill. Of what has been changed? The change was to bring Jammu and Kashmir cadre and Arunachal, Goa, Mizoram, all of their cadres together. Right? So it was to replace the ordinance, to merge this. Both of them merging was to be replaced, and for that purpose this was there. Now it was passed along the 2019 reorganization bill. After 370 revocation, this has happened, and now this amendment has taken place for the cadre replacement, right? Next, which we have is Ministry of Education, which has decided that schools and hostels under Samagra Shiksha scheme will now be renamed after Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So this renaming has been announced under Samagra Shiksha schools. Now, if we talk about what this Samagra Shiksha scheme was, it was a integrated scheme for school education from preschool to 12th. All the schooling is covered under this, and it was under three schemes. Basically, there are three schemes for which this scheme was launched. That is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Teacher Education, and Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. All of these three are the schemes for which this single scheme was launched, Samagra Shiksha scheme, right? And the purpose of this scheme was to increase the quality of education and do that via improving the teachers' quality and improving the technological advancement or involvement in education, right? Next is Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has stated that central government will work with Reserve Bank of India to execute the plan of privatization of bank. That is, a lot more banks are to be privatized, and for that purpose, RBI is going to Minister of Finance is going to work with RBI to implement that work, right? Now, as of now, they don't have any plan to form any banking investment company for government bank holdings, right? As per the announcement that was done. Where was the announcement done? This announcement was done when the minister was addressing the business leaders and CAs and tax professionals in Mumbai. Next of all, but before that, for all the banking aspirants, here you need to be aware of how many state-owned banks are there. So if we go as of now, currently there are 12 state-owned banks, right? Then central government has allocated 16,000 crores for Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana for the upcoming financial year or fiscal year 2021-22. So 16,000 crores have been implemented or have been infused in the market for boosting the safety of crops. This whole scheme is, it was started in 2016. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana was started in 2016 to provide a comprehensive risk solution at the lowest uniform premium, right? So it is the largest crop insurance with respect to the farmers participation and the third largest with respect to the premium that is involved, right? Entire cropping cycle, which includes the pre-sowing and the post-harvest, all of that is covered under this Bima Yojana, under this insurance scheme. And there are various subsequent schemes alongside, like crop insurance scheme, common service centers for nearest agriculture officers, and simplifying the process of reporting crop loss within 72 hours of the occurrence of any event. All of these simplifications have already been done. It was in 2016 it was launched, and as of now 16,000 crores have been allocated. Then avalanche and flash floods have been triggered in Alaknanda River in Chamaoli district of Uttarakhand, and this was because of a glacial breach that has happened, right? All right. Now with this, we'll be winding up the segment. I hope this segment has been helpful to all of you in making quick notes of the recent events. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye. Take care. Have a wonderful day ahead. And do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for daily updates. Have a wonderful day ahead.